The Greater Centerville Historians organized in the year 2000. The purpose of the organization is to preserve the history of the Township of Centerville, Cleveland and surrounding area. Gerald O'Neill, Charliebauer, Richard Wiegand, and myself, Kathleen Sixel, were the founding members. In 1831, the territory south of Green Bay was sold to the U.S. government by the Native Americans who had title to the land. The consideration was the promise of a reservation in another state. The Township of Centerville was established in 1850. The township had a village called Centerville. The reason for the hamlet's original name of Centerville was, in the days of the Indians, there was a trail along Lake Michigan between Manitowoc and Sheboygan. This heavenly spot was exactly at the halfway mark, so the early white man gave it the name Centerville. In 1849, the village of Centerville was surveyed and laid out in lots and blocks. The village of Centerville was renamed Hika when the Postmaster General informed the village leaders that another Centerville was located in the state. When it became time for Centerville to be renamed, a judge in Manitowoc by the name of Albert Schmidt would take kids hiking. The judge said, "You can't call a town hiking, so why not make it Hika?" Thus the village of Centerville became Hika. In the early years, Centerville had the vision of becoming a lake port. To encourage ships to dock there, 2 piers were built into Lake Michigan. Many German immigrants arrived by schooners, and the village began to grow. The village had a brick factory, stores, schools, a Lutheran and a Catholic church, mills, saloons, blacksmith shop, and a fire department, and a brewery. When the brewery was built, the settlement began to flourish. But when fire destroyed the brewery, the largest industry, there was no longer a need for the harbor facilities. So ended this chapter of the development of Hika. 2 miles west of Hika, another settlement known as St. Wendel began to grow. It had a Catholic church, a general store with a connected dance hall, and a post office was also located in the complex, a funeral parlor, and at one time a motel. With the clearing of the forest, tilling of the land began. This prompted the exporting of lumber and grains. The farmers of Centerville looked forward to the building of a railway since they had a serious problem transporting their products. In 1873, the Milwaukee, Lakeshore, and Western Railroad was built between the settlements of Hika and St. Wendel and was named Centerville Station. In 1880, Centerville Station was renamed Cleveland after President Grover Cleveland. Cleveland, at that point in time, owes its growth to the fact that the Township of Centerville was a rich farming community, and farmers from miles around would bring products to be shipped by rail or ship. The village of Cleveland had several grocery stores, a furniture store, a funeral parlor, several saloons, Lutheran church, hardware stores, several gas stations, newspaper, photographer studio, several car dealerships, cheese factory, several feed mills, livestock yard, and lumber yards. The biggest business was the Cleveland Co-op, which offered many types of services. With the failing of grain crops, the farmers began dairy farming. With the abundance of milk, another industry began, cheese and butter making. Local cheese factories dotted the countryside. One-room schools were usually built near the cheese factories, so children would have a ride to school when farmers brought their milk. In 1958, Hika, St. Wendel, and Cleveland incorporated into the village of Cleveland. In 1968, the Cleveland Elementary School was built. The Township of Centerville has seen many farming changes, but dairy farming is still the primary vocation. Today, Cleveland is known as the seat of Lakeshore Technical College, which offers an educational alternative to 4-year colleges. An ancient proverb states, When an old person dies, a library burns to the ground. These words were the inspiration for organizing the Greater Centerville Historians. We hope to preserve as many memories as possible.
Okay, we're here in the area of just prior to Cleveland, Wisconsin. And across the road was formerly Gottlieb Herman's junkyard, but it's now under a new name, Cleveland Auto Sales and Salvage. Okay, we're standing on the corner of the area here, just prior to roads that lead into Cleveland. And in this area where this marker is, there used to be a building, some sort of tavern. We're going to have Marie Pippert give us some more information. And she also contacted me this morning in regard to the, I believe it's an Octagon building that's going to be moved from this location. It was here for many years, and she would be able to give us a lot of information in regard to who owned it, what all took place there perhaps, and things like that. I'm going to just pan around here a little bit more. It's a cool, windy day here on October 1st. I'd say it's about 45 degrees with a 15-mile-an-hour wind or 20-mile-an-hour wind, so it does feel a little nippy. And of course, across the street is the Cleveland Family Restaurant and Bondi's Quick Mart here. And of course, things are changing very fast in this corner. Okay, right across the street here, kitty corner, used to be an old school, and I'm afraid I don't know the name of it. Marie Pippert and her husband and family all went to this brick school, which is now demolished and is not even seeable. And they just must have did that a few weeks ago. But again, it's that part of the corner is changing. Panning back here past the Bondi's Quick Mart and the Cleveland Family Restaurant, we come upon the Octagon building that's here. And that is being moved to Pinecrest Historical Village near the other side of Manitowoc, out toward the west of Manitowoc. Charliebauer is taking some measurements. We're going to help him out here a little bit. Okay, we're now inside the Octagon building, and you can see chains and so forth that are tying it together for moving it so it don't split. But there was benches along this side, and they had access windows that were able to open up, I would believe. Okay, this is the view of the ceiling, which all came to a peak in the center, and the support that supported that all. And I have Marie and Charlie here, and we're ducking under cables that are crisscrossed throughout the entire building. We have an old piano that still remained here. It's not in too good a condition, but it sustained itself. Okay, probably at this point starting to look to the north. We got an area that they kind of had to open up to get inside, which they'll restore later on. But it's very unique in here. I never was in here myself. These are the lamps that provided some lighting in the building, and we have one on every portion of the flat area, which is the part of the Octagon, so I would have to say there's 8 lamps in here. We're going to be going outside because of the noise factor in the building, that they're nailing support planking to the outside, but we are looking at a bench, and Charlie, can't do it.
We're going to try to do this in between the noise, but each one of the octagons
Yes.
is 18 feet long.
Okay.
And there's 8 of them, and the side walls are 8 feet high.
Okay, very good.
And I think earlier we looked at the wiring,
Yes.
and the old wiring in here is what was known as tube and knob, or knob and tube wiring. It's the old-fashioned style where the wire was exposed and ran through a porcelain insulator.
Okay. And anything with the construction of the timbers there at all, Charlie?
No, and according to the roof boards, there never was a wood shingled roof on here. Must have always been asphalt because there's no spacing in the roof boards.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm going to just shoot, because after a while maybe we can do an audio on this tape and overlap it a little bit. I'm just going to get enough view here so we all can look at things and make some comments on it.
It's a simple balloon construction. All the 2x4s and rafters are on 16 feet centers.
Okay,
And
16-inch centers?
16-inch centers, and the outside is covered with car siding. Just a single layer car siding is put on there.
Okay.
And we have a nice hardwood floor in here.
Oh, okay, very good, Charlie.
And I can't tell you what the wood is, but because it's too dirty, but I'm guessing it's got to be maple because that was quite popular style of wood at that time period.
All right. And that doorway would be to the west, is that correct?
That doorway goes to the west.
Okay, I want to get orientated here. That doorway goes to the west. I'm going to pan to the right.
And every one of the sections had a compartment that would open up.
Okay.
For the outside.
Yep. All right. And now we'd be looking to the northeast.
Northeast, and when you get where the light is shining through, that would actually be the east side.
All right. Okay, and then this would be...
And the door we're coming to here on the south side of the building, Marie says this is the door they always use.
All right.
The in and out door.
In and out, okay.
And I was told by Marie that there was no bar in here. This was strictly a dance hall.
Okay.
Just used for dancing.
All right, very good. I think we can now go outside and go with the rest of the information.
Great.
Thank you.
Sure.
Marie Pippert and Charliebauer here at the site of the Octagon building that's in the background, and Marie can maybe fill us in a little bit more who owned it and so forth, and go whatever you want to go with. Go right ahead, Marie.
Okay, see what I can all remember.
Yeah.
It was owned by Joe Nennig. I can't remember her name. And there was a Hildegard, Jerome, Bill, and Teresa, and a couple others.
All Nennings?
All Nennigs.
and they would have a yearly picnic here
Okay.
in the hall,
All right.
and they had sides that opened up, so it was open air all the way around.
All right.
They did not have a bar in there that I recalled, because we also had to go to the tavern, but it was right next door.
The tavern was next door, and that was owned by who again?
Joe Nennig.
Okay, so he really owned this building
Joe Nennig.
and the property around that building.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you think Joe built it then?
That I don't know. It was always there in my lifetime.
And,
It was always there.
Yeah.
Okay.
and what time of year are we talking about? 19?
Oh, well, I was born in 1914, maybe 1914, 1928, 28, 32.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, about that time I would say.
And there was only one occasion here, or was there many?
One summer picnic,
Okay.
and they fried outside. I remember my husband fried it from the pepper
Okay,
person.
and that was around this area then?
Yeah, that was out here.
Huh? Okay, with the
Yeah.
big trees, yeah.
And then they had like beer in that out here.
Okay.
And I remember that Joe was killed right in front of the tavern,
Ah,
the owner.
really?
A car hit him, he went across to the mailbox.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and Hildegard died at 14, and Jerome was maybe 16 or something. They both died of diabetes.
Okay.
And we all went to the little school right on the corner, which is now torn down.
That was a brick school, is that correct?
Brick school,
And
center school.
Center school. And how many students went there when you were there?
Oh,
and
when
what
I
years
went-
did you go there?
My brother went there already, and he was born in 1900.
Okay.
And I remember he always said there were 60 kids in there and one teacher
All right.
and an outside toilet. That I remember too.
One outside toilet.
Yes, I remember that too in my
So
days.
the Nennigs, when they had this dance hall here, they put on a picnic for the community?
That was always put on for the community.
And then during other times of the year, they use it during the weekends for dances?
No.
It was just-
Only the picnic.
Just a picnic?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
as much
Okay.
as I can remember.
Was it ever used by any other organizations?
No.
Any church groups or
No,
civic
uh-uh,
groups?
No.
And what time of the year did they have that picnic?
In summer, I would say maybe July.
Okay.
It's probably in that book. I thought maybe Kathy would come. It's in that Centerville book probably, but I couldn't find mine.
Okay.
And,
All right. And now the tavern was north of this building, is that correct?
The tavern was north of the building, a beautiful tavern.
Okay.
And that was run afterwards by his daughter, Teresa.
Okay.
And
Did,
I remember she sold gas there too. There was a gas pump.
There was a
right
gas
in front
pump
of it.
there?
Yeah,
okay.
one gas pump.
Okay. Now,
And, Bill Nennig was a son, and then he built a house right over here.
all right.
And then afterwards, well, they never had any kids, so Teresa got that house, and that's where she lived until she died. She was in the high 90s when
Oh,
she
really?
died.
Okay. Okay.
But that tavern was clean. Oh, that was a beautiful tavern.
Okay. So it was strictly a tavern. That didn't have any hall or anything.
Not the tavern part, no.
Okay.
No.
And was there a stove in this building at all, or didn't they need it really?
No, I don't think there was, not that I can remember, no.
Okay.
They only had that in summer.
Yeah. Okay.
But-
Now you mentioned they had a band, and that was on where did they locate the band in the building?
On the north side.
All right. Okay.
You came in the south, and that was on the north side.
Okay. And I see there was benches there too on the
Yeah.
inside, right?
All over around.
Was there a charge to get into the dance, or was it always free?
Well, in those days it was free.
It was free.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Very good.
If
And
you had a quarter to spend, boy, that was something. At the picnic.
at the picnic, huh?
I can remember offhand.
Okay. Very good.
And now the building is going to Pine Crest.
Which is wonderful.
Yeah.
Good news. Good news.
Yes.
And we have a crew in the background, which you may have heard some noises. They're putting it together right now.
I think if you pan the truck, Jerry, you could see that
Yeah.
the boat movers are going to be moving now.
Okay, I'll pan over there, Charlie.
What I want to do, I'm going to see if I can get under that building to see if there's another stone foundation.
Oh, okay. This is the company that's doing the moving. The area that they're working on is they took some boards off, I believe, to get access to the building and to determine what they need to do to keep it intact while they move it. The two young ladies here who are very conscientious about preserving some history and information, and I'll have them introduce themselves one more time. Go right ahead, Marie, would you?
I'm Marie Pippert.
Thank you. And
I'm Kathy Wagner.
Hi, Kathy. And you were good enough to come in this morning at a short notice, and you've got some information. Go right ahead.
Well, I have this from a history book that we did at the Bicentennial.
Okay.
It says Teresa's Tavern on the corner of Highway 149 and County NXX has been a family bar since the 1800s. Miss Nennig's great-grandparents started the tavern. During the summer months, parades were held down the existing Highway 149 and a picnic followed at the Nennig Tavern. The tavern was handed down from P. Nennig to Frank Nennig and then to Joseph Nennig, who constructed the octagonal building which still stands. For approximately 10 years, summer dances were held in the octagonal dance hall.
Very good. Thank you. Kathy Wagner has some additional information and she'd like to relay that. It's an article from a paper, I believe.
From the Sheboygan Press.
Very good. And would you read that aloud, please?
Yes. Teresa's Tavern to give farewell toast to 151 years.
Ooh.
A tavern located in Manitowoc County for 151 years will no longer be open for business as of June 30th. Teresa's Tavern at the intersection of County Highway XX, North Avenue, and West U Street in Cleveland will close its doors forever. The closing is being prompted by future road improvements scheduled for Highway XX in 1992. The tavern will be torn down to make room for a new and wider roadway. Teresa Nennig is the fourth generation to operate the business. Nennig's great-grandfather constructed and established the business in 1840. The tavern has been operated by family members since it was established. It was passed on to Nennig's grandfather, father, and finally to Teresa Nennig. The well-maintained establishment does not seem 151 years old. The polished oak and maple bar is in excellent condition. Years of pride in maintaining the establishment is recognizable throughout the building. One of 11 children born to Joseph and Helen Bayer Nennig, Nennig has operated the business for 61 years, taking over the business upon the accidental death of her father, Joseph Nennig, in 1929. A Town of Centerville town clerk for many years, he was putting up fall election posters when he was killed by a reckless driver in front of the tavern.
Wow.
He built the Octagon building that stands just south of the tavern. It was a location for many dances years ago. The Octagon building, believed to have been constructed in the early 1900s, will remain. Nennig jokingly said, "That stays so we can have dances in there." Nennig owns a residence south of the Octagon building, which she intends to move into. Moving will be emotional and quite a change. "It's my place and I can't stay here," she said. "I've been here all my life and it'll be hard to leave." One last fling by a group of old patrons was enjoyed recently, as 30 of them gathered for old time's sake to say goodbye to the establishment and surprise Nennig. During the evening, patrons recalled many old memories of the place and at the same time created new memories. "It was always a place to stop," said one patron. "It is not certain how the gathering happened." A question about who organized the gathering drew the response, "Before Teresa closes, we gotta go." Another group, a 33-year-old Sheepshead Card Club, claims responsibility for setting the date, and word just spread. One gentleman explained that back some years ago money was tight, and many, including himself, many times borrowed $5 from Teresa and explained, "We were good for it, and it would be repaid." She was not only a person in business, but a good friend to us. Also recalled during the evening were the many chivalries dating back to 1944. A certain group would chivalry a bridal couple and get a payoff. They would then go down to Teresa's, enjoy their own party in the side room. Later they would attend the wedding dance, which back then usually were public dances. The last couple the group remembers chivalrying was Lloyd and Dorothy Woolman.
Really?
Oh my God.
In 1969. Nennig said of the patrons gathered, "I sort of grew up with them. They stop in off and on, but I don't see them that often. It's nice to see them all together." Many of the group recalled how they did as children attend 4th of July picnics and other gatherings at the tavern with their parents. Nennig recalled serving famous people. Wisconsin Governor Julius Kyle, governor from 1939 to 43, was on his way to Sturgeon Bay and stopped to purchase gasoline. The establishment also sold gasoline as Westview Street once was a main highway, Highway 141. She also served stage and motion picture actor John Barrymore, 1882-1942. He was on his way to visit a son in Michigan, Nennig recollected. Nennig will have some free time now after operating the business for 61 years, but she's uncertain what she'll do with it. Look for a job, she said amusingly, adding that this will be like a man without a country.
Very good article. Very good. Thank you so much.
I read the Sheboygan Press with a
There you go.
and I have a whole lot of scrapbooks, and I knew that I had this somewhere. So I looked.
With three people here who are putting together some information on the historic building in back of them, and Mr. Bauer has investigated something that he'll tell us about. Go right ahead.
Yes, I like old buildings, so there's a hole on the side here, so I crawled under there to see what the foundation looked like.
Okay.
And from east to west, there's 7 stone walls that run through there.
Oh, really?
Spaced apart.
All right.
And then the timbers that carry the weight of the floor run north and south. So
Okay.
they actually rest on them 7 stone walls.
Really?
And on top of them timbers are 2x4s that run the opposite way.
Wow.
And on top of the 2x4s is where the hardwood floor is nailed on.
Now, these 2x4s, are they spaced or are they...
They're spaced apart. Oh, I didn't measure them because I didn't get my ruler, but they look like they're spaced about 2 feet apart, 16 inches, something like that.
All right. Okay. And the floor part of it, you guessed it was maple. Is that what your guess is yet?
I think it looked more like Doug fir now.
Okay.
From underneath.
All right.
I'm going to go down and take another picture, but it doesn't look like maple from the bottom side. It looks more like Doug fir from the bottom side. And the wood looks newer. You can see there's no dirt on it because it was enclosed all the while.
Right.
And some of the timbers that carry the weight of the building that run from north to south were used timbers. They're,
Okay.
You know, they have pockets more distant, you know. But I was surprised at all the stone they had under that building.
I see that. And around the perimeter, too, I see.
Perimeter, yes.
And it was all stone masons together,
Yeah.
huh?
And the walls inside are about 2 feet thick.
Really?
Yeah, there's not much space in between them.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent. Well, very good, Charlie.
I think maybe if you get in you could almost stick the camera.
Just about a camera in there. We'll take a look. As Charlie indicated, there are some mighty heavy stone walls for the perimeter, and he's also pointed out, as he did verbally to us, that there was something underneath it to be looked at. So we'll take a look. And we're on the east side of the building at this point, where some removal of timbers are made. A little bit under the foundation.
We'll get under here. And you can see up here, this is a timber that's been reclaimed because it has a mortise pocket in here.
Correct.
And here's the 2x4s I talked about that come across.
All right.
There's one here and the other one's here, so I'm guessing they're spaced about 2 feet.
All right.
And then these are the timbers and the stone
What
wall.
size are those timbers, Charlie?
These timbers here are about the length of my hand, so I'm guessing 6 inches.
Yep.
You know, but they sit on the stone walls, and there's 7 of them. There's one right here on my right-hand side, and there's another one right here on my left-hand side here.
Yep.
And then if you look up on top here, you can catch the new, the floor is new under here, and I believe that's a Doug fir wood. It is not maple.
All right. Okay.
But this thing was definitely got a lot of lumber under here.
I'm going to just shoot past you. Ah, there we go. I'm just telephotoing in on that width of that wall. What do you think those width of those support
the stone walls?
rails or walls here? Yeah.
They look pretty close to 2 feet.
Okay.
And that was pretty standard with the stonemasons. They usually built 2 feet.
All right. I'm going to try and telephoto all the way back into the back end here. I'm on the east side looking to the west.
Yeah.
And
I think from this timber to the one back here, we're almost 4 feet on space here.
okay, I
From
agree.
this timber to this timber.
Yeah. Okay. Very good, Charlie. Corner construction here a little bit.
Yeah, and they just got a angle in here, an octagon. I forget the angle of an octagon is. Maybe Jerry would know.
Maybe like a 45?
No, it would be 22 and a half probably. Yeah.
Probably maybe that, yes.
And it's just got
That's right, 22 and a half. You're
it's
right.
got a 2x8
Okay.
sill plate that sits right on top of the stone here.
All right.
And then the rest of the building just went on up from there.
Okay. On the east side, and Charlie will give us some more information in regard to the roof, shingling, and so forth.
Yeah, the roof shingling is just a regular asphalt shingle that was put on there. And the center post that's right up at the top of the building there
Yes.
was an octagon-shaped post. But
Oh, it was?
It's weathered away. It looks more round from up here, but inside the building, it's still an octagon-type shape to the post there.
Okay, Charlie, I noticed one thing when I was videoing inside. There was a number of angled supports, I'll call it, coming down. What kind of a deal was that?
I don't know what that is. I looked at it myself, and the structure, you had the rafters go up like this, and then the posts came down the center, and then the rafters went back up this way, kind of like so to use that center post more like a brace.
Okay, all right, could have done that, yes. Okay, we'll talk about that when we take a look at the video. Maybe we can see some more information there. But again, the large trees that still are here were part of the park, according to Marie Pippard, where they fried brats, hamburgers, and served some beer outside the hall. And she indicated, I believe, that there was no such thing as serving inside the hall. Charlie's inquiring about what was on the... Here was working hard on this building, and he'd like to identify himself and give us information.
Jason Devone.
Hi, Jason.
How's it going?
Good. And
Jerry, I was talking to this gentleman here, and I was wondering why the space was open here, and he was explaining to me there was a stage back here.
oh, really?
And can you give me the dimensions of that one more
The
time?
stage ran out at about this height right here.
Okay.
Ran out 10 feet.
Oh, really?
And in that stage, they had a door on this side right here.
Yes.
And over in the corner there, they had an old piano. And we put
Ah.
that piano back into the building and had to tear this off because it was all rotten.
Sure,
So, so the steps to the stage were on this side where the door was to
There
get
was actually, yeah, you couldn't really get in the stage from that side.
Or you
You
had,
had to come in this way.
Oh, there was a separate...
Because it was that there was no steps on the inside going up.
Okay.
It was like their little band members came in right here on this side
Okay.
back here.
well,
But,
very good.
They had no steps or nothing.
All
and that
right.
was just a flat roof, a shed roof type?
It was just like a shed roof. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It had just a hair of a pitch on it.
Okay, and that was about 10 feet out, you say?
It was about 10 feet out. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's all on the trailer right there.
Okay. Mr. Defoe here, Jason, I believe it is.
Yes.
And he's going to tell us a little bit about the foundation that they had to hack through it a little bit.
Well, this foundation was a little bit different than most underneath a building this age. What they did here is they ran their outside foundation all the way around the perimeter.
Okay.
Then every 4 feet, all the way the lengthwise, they ran another footing to keep that floor perfectly level all the time.
Wow.
And that's a little bit of trouble we had underneath here, trenching underneath all those walls. It's
Now, okay, as far as the 10-foot stage area, what supported that in the ground area here?
It had a regular foundation.
Oh, it did too?
Stone foundation, 2 feet thick, 2
Okay.
feet down, all the way around.
All the way around, but nothing in the middle area, is that right?
Nothing in the middle area. No.
Okay, so it was supported by the timbers that were put
Yep.
across there.
Yep.
In your best guess then, was the stage area built basically the same time the rest of the Octagon building?
It sure looks like it was. It really looks like it was built at the same time.
Okay.
But
Well,
they didn't do as good a job on that. What they did on the dance hall itself, if you looked around the foundation at all with the camera, they had vent holes going in. All the way around they had these little vent holes, and that kept everything from rotting underneath there.
Really?
On the stage area, they didn't have any vents or nothing.
Ah.
So everything would sit in there and it would just rot right out.
And the
Yep.
moisture stayed in and that was
Moisture
it.
stayed in and rotted it right out. Yep.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll be doggone. Very good information. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And your game plan for this building is moving it when, or you got anything?
We're going to move it on Tuesday.
Okay.
And we'll pull it in on Tuesday and pull our wheels on Wednesday, and it'll be set for the mason, I think, at the end of the day on Wednesday.
Okay. And
Today
it's-
we'll be raising it up, and tomorrow we'll be loading it on the wheels and pulling it ahead.
All right. Okay. Very good. Well, we wish you a lot of luck with the structure there, sir.
Well, we have it all cabled and everything. Everything's
Yes,
done right.
I see
you know,
that, yes.
if you don't do a barn, If you don't cable a barn, we call it a barn. You guys call it a dance hall.
Yeah.
But if you don't cable the barn, the way the barn is right now, it's kind of down.
Okay.
The foundation's sunk on one side over here, and it's sunk on the other side over there.
Right.
So when you would go to pick up otherwise, you could have a failure in the roof system.
Oh.
So we have to cable everything, keep everything tight together, and then after we pick the building up in the air, we have to tighten all of our cables, and we're going to try to pull it back into place where it originally was.
Wonderful. Okay, very good job. Thank you, and thank you so much for the information regarding this add-on stage. Nobody remembered it.
Yeah.
And you're the only one that got the information here, so we're really happy.
Usually we take a picture when we start.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
Ah. Well, we got the audio anyway. That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
We're here, and he's got some information to put down here.
Yes, this is the part of the band shell, I'm going to call it, or the stage where the band sat on it. And what the movers did, they saved all the lumber, they got it all band together, and they will be taking this load of, it looks like debris to us, but there's no lumber in here. We'll be going out to the Pinecrest Historic Village.
Okay. Very good, and they can use it as they wish.
Right, right.
All right, very good.
One other thing, Jerry, if you can do a 180, I want you to catch, because there's just a roof line left of that stage on this side of that octagon we can pick out.
Real good, we'll do that. Here by the Octagon building, and Charlie just noticed something also that we could use.
Yeah, we got just a piece of the ridge line left, or the facial board, I should say, of the band shell. And that band shell just had a straight shed roof on it.
Okay. Okay, and it had some kind of a slant to the roof?
Right, just a regular, what they call a shed roof. Just
okay.
There was no gable on it. It was just a flat shed roof.
Okay. And we're going to go up to that center post one more time with telephotoing.
I don't hear much noise now. Maybe we could get inside and take a look at that one more time at that.
Very good. I agree.
How they did that construction of that particular building.
Again, and Charlie would like to point out a couple things. Go right ahead, Charlie.
As we look at the rafter system in the center here, you've got an octagon post that comes down. And there's 8 long arms that come out, and each one of the long arms touches the...
Okay, we're looking at that octagon center post.
See now, if you follow that center post down, and you see the long arms that come out, on each facet of that octagon post, the long arm comes out to the ridge of the octagon.
All right.
And that raises...
So we're looking at the ridge that comes up as the corner of the roof, if you will, or the... Charlie, go right ahead if you can.
I don't know where we were, but the long arms come in, they're anchored on one of the 8 faces of that post there, and they come out onto the ridge of the high part of the octagon.
All right.
And all your short little rafters in here are normally called jack rafters. They just tie into the ridge post here.
I see.
And each one of them do that. And the second set of bracing in here, it looks like they catch the high rafter again on the ridge.
Okay.
And then they catch one in between that goes up to the top.
Ah.
So it's just the rafters that go all the way from the top of the post to the outer wall that are supported. All the rest of your jack rafters are tied into them 16 main rafters.
All right. Charlie is very intrigued about this tie-in that they've got here for an octagon building.
And then the second one comes up alongside, catches the same one, and the only other one it catches is the full-length rafter that goes to the top, all the way down to the bottom.
Great. Charlie's pointing out something.
This is a 4x4 here.
Okay.
And at the end of the octagon over here, that's another 4x4.
All right.
The 3 rafters that go all the way to the top, and the rafter that
The top plate, I guess you'd call it,
the
Charlie?
top plate on the wall, it's just here, two 2x4s, and the spacing in between here, this block they put in here, to keep the sparrows out.
Okay. Okay, very good.
Rafters, well, we have two different size rafters. We got 2x4s and 2x6s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the rafters that go further up are 2x6s, and the shorter jack rafters that tie into the ridge are 2x4.
Okay. All right. Very good. And they put a header across the openings?
Right. And usually a header would be standing on edge and it'd be doubled up, and they'd have another one under here, and this is just tied in.
Okay. Very good. Pointed out something. Go right ahead, Charlie.
Yes, as I walk around the building, we noticed one little opening in the wall there. It looked like it's cut out there for a stove of some kind.
Okay.
And it's been painted green. It looks like it's been painted green a long time, so I don't know if it was even ever used, but it was put there.
And what side of the building was that on?
This would be on the southeast side,
okay.
on that particular octagon side.
Okay, very good.
And we talked about the louvers that ran through the building here. I noticed right here now on this stone foundation. It's made out of rat screen, and it was used to ventilate underneath the building to keep the moisture from accumulating.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Charliebauer here, and we're on a mission today, and Charlie will describe a little bit what we're all up to. Go right ahead, please.
We're standing here on the Nennig Octagon Dance Hall Foundation, and the building's been moved off. It didn't leave yet. They just got it over in the green area here. And we're going to show a little bit about the stone foundation, and they left one timber behind here, so that indicates how they had it set up here. And we can see the stone walls now that went across.
Okay.
And we indicated they're about 2 feet wide here.
All right.
And there are 7 of them. We counted them. There's 7 of them that goes across here. It was a heavy foundation for such a light building.
Okay. Now, as far as, again, the dimensions of the foundations, would you give that again, Charlie?
Yes, the building itself was 45 feet across at the longest octagon.
Okay.
And there was a 8-sided building. Each panel was 18 feet long. Each section was 18 feet long.
Very good.
And when you go from one panel to the other panel straight across was 45 feet.
Okay.
And the mover indicated that this will be one of the widest buildings that he attempted to move. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how they get it on the other side of I-43. And they indicate they're going to be going north on Union Road the majority of the distance. So
okay, all right.
We'll probably get to that a little later.
All right. And the timber size, could you give us a little rough idea what the timber was here, Charlie?
The timber itself looks like it's about 8 inches thick and about 1 foot wide.
Okay.
And on top of this here is where the 2x4 sat on edge this way.
Okay.
And then the dance hall floorboards itself was nailed on across this way.
All right.
On top of these 2x4s here.
Okay. And again, all this foundation was stone, field stone?
Field stone foundation, yes.
And mortared together in some form?
Yep, yep.
And around the perimeter, was there a step or a shelf there, Charlie?
Yeah, they got a ledge here, which is kind of interesting because this timber sat on this shoulder of this foundation here.
Okay, let me come over there, Charlie. You stopped Charlie from speaking because of the distance here, so he's going to talk about some ledge.
Yes, there's a shoulder ledge on the stone foundation where the support timber sat on here.
Okay.
And then when you put the 2x4 on edge like this, that would come out with this space right here.
Oh, I see.
The top of the foundation, and this actually is where the plate sill was set on.
All right.
And
okay.
then the rest of the building got built from here on up.
All right. And the floor was actually supported by the timber then?
Right. The floor itself was supported by the timber that ran across.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Very good, Charlie. Thank you.
Okay.
Fantastic. And I'll meet you by our car. Let's do that.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Right, yeah.
Let's,
Okay, this morning here in Cleveland. There's a lot of activity with the removal of the Octagon Dance Hall to its new location at Pinecrest. We have a couple of TV stations here this morning wanting to cover this event also, and it should be quite interesting all day long. Here with a smile on his face, and he's got a big project ahead of him, and he'll give us his identification and go from there, please. Go right ahead.
Jason Devone, Devone House and Building Movers, and I was going to explaining to Chuck about the hydraulic dollies that we're using to move the dance hall.
Okay.
And these dollies are set up, they're 100% legal through the state. They have air brakes
Okay.
on the rear axles, that way we can control the brakes from the truck.
Okay.
And they have hydraulic cylinders in them that go up and down, and they can raise or lower if we need to keep the building level whatsoever.
Okay.
And they're also set up to steer in the front.
Wow.
And if we need to steer around a corner, we just come along one way or come along another way.
Wonderful.
And as I was explaining to him, sometimes what we do is we don't set up our come-alongs at all.
Now, come along is what?
A come-along is a hand winch
Okay.
to crank one way or crank the other way,
I
to steer the wheels this way or to steer them that way.
Okay.
What we can do in certain situations, we'll run them where we will just pull our pins and we'll let them steer themselves. They're called self-castering hydraulic dollies.
Okay, very good, very interesting. As far as the hydraulic system, this has to be done manually to...
It has to be done manually, yeah. There's a pump unit right here.
Okay, let's talk about that. Okay, very good. That controls the...
That controls the dollies. That's called a power pack.
All right.
And what that does is we open them up and we can raise up either side, lower either side, do whatever we need to do to keep it level.
Unbelievable. Very well, you know, this whole thing is really well thought of, and the mechanics are wonderful.
Yeah, you really don't, you don't see a lot of the stuff that goes into everything.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
You don't get to see all that stuff, but if you don't have dollies like this, you know, with the brakes on and with the hydraulic cylinders, it makes everything hard.
Okay.
You know, but if you got the hydraulics, any problem that you have,
All right.
if you got a flat tire, you can just crib up, lift up, and pull a wheel real quick. It takes us, we've timed ourselves, it takes us 10 minutes to change a tire.
Really?
We're faster than about anybody. Because we can go up with the hydraulics, block up, pull the tire and put another tire on, which sometimes you can get you know, when you take a long distance, this is a short move for us.
Okay.
But when you have a long distance to go, sometimes you'll get a flat tire.
Okay.
And it just, everything, you know, and the police like it when you can just keep moving. So you don't, you know, if you stop at all, they get impatient.
Yes.
So you just want to always keep moving and keep everybody happy.
Very good, very good.
That's about it.
And the coordination today with the police, I believe, and your people.
Manitowoc County Police, and I believe we have 6 of our people here today.
Good.
We'll have, I think, 4 of our trucks besides our moving truck, so that we can handle any of the traffic, any of the signs, any of the mailboxes. We've already measured the whole route completely, if you believe it.
Wonderful.
Every single mailbox, every single sign's been measured. We know everything we have to pull out, so everybody knows their job to do.
Wonderful. Hey, totally organized, I'm telling you.
Well, if you're not organized on the road, what
you
happens,
are in trouble.
if you don't measure every single thing, what happens, you pull up to it and you guess. You're always guessing. Is this, do I have to do this, do I have to do that? There's no guesswork whatsoever. Everybody gets ahead. We have trucks that go ahead.
Yes.
They already know what they have to do. They pull out the mailboxes. The trucks behind, after the load passes, the trucks behind, those workers get out, put those signs right back in, or the mailboxes.
Sure.
And if you don't do that,
Yep.
then everybody's mad.
That's right.
You know,
You're
but it
right.
works out pretty good that way.
Now, as far as the power company, they're working with you on this
They're
too?
working with us, and they'll have 1 or 2 trucks ahead and 1 behind.
All right.
1 to take the wire down, and then 1 truck right behind to put it right back up.
Okay. Very well done, sir. I got to say, your processes look complete, and you're ready to rock and roll.
Well, you know, it's just like anything. There's good people, there's good businesses that do roofing, there's good businesses that do siding, and there's bad businesses.
Right.
And as far as for moving goes, it's the same way. There's good ones and there's bad ones, you know, but people usually only remember the bad ones. They never remember the good ones.
The good ones are so smooth, they forget about them.
They forget all about them, but they always remember that one guy that had a problem, you know.
Okay, now your job today, are you a driver or a coordinator?
I'll most likely be the logistics coordinator, and I'll be directing up in front.
Okay.
And if I'm not doing that, I will be pulling the signs.
Okay, very good, sir. Thank you so much, Jason.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, the building is headed for Pinecrest Historical Village, and these people that are moving seem to be quite organized and have this thing under total control. So we should have minor incidents, if any. And there's a large gathering of people here, both to take some pictures for their own memories and also to kind of follow along the route too, I imagine. And I think I'm going to talk to my cohort here, and he'll probably fill us in on the route that we're planning on going today. My neighbor, Mr. Charliebauer, and he has some information in regard to the trip and the route that's being taken today by this dance hall.
Okay, first of all, the building from the ground level to where I'm standing on until to the very peak of the pinnacle of the roof there is about 24 feet high.
Okay.
So we have power line issues.
Yes, sir.
And the movers today, they're going to move it over I-43. So they're going to be going west as soon as they make the turn out here on County XX, or as known locally here as North Avenue.
Okay.
And when they get to the intersection of Union Road, they're going to be going north on Union Road, so that'll be a right-hand turn.
All right.
And they're going to stay on Union Road all the way across Highway C. They're going to cross State Road 42 and continue north on Union Road until they get to Weyhausen Road.
All right.
Which is the road before English Lake.
All right.
And there they're going to make a left-hand turn, and they'll be going west. And they're going to stay on Weyhausen Road until they get to Brunner Road.
All right.
And there they're going to make a right-hand turn and go north again.
All right.
And then they come to the intersection of Middle Road. And Middle Road, they'll be making a left-hand turn, which will be sending them back west again.
All right.
And they're going to stay on Middle Road until they get to Century Road.
Okay.
And Century Road, they'll be making a right-hand turn, which will be going north, and that will come up to the backside of the Pinecrest Historic Village. And I believe there they're going to cross the field to get access to the grounds itself.
All right. Very good, Charlie. Anything else you want to add at this time?
Not right offhand. I'm pretty impressed with these movers, though.
They're really organized.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I am impressed also. So we're looking forward to and the day today is what kind of weather are we expecting?
It's going to be nice. It's going to be in the 70s. And one other thing I might add, he said they'll be probably traveling about 5 miles an hour.
All right.
And their speed will be determined by how fast the power lines can move up and down. And he figures overall it's going to be 6 hours or a little better than 6 hours. So
okay.
it's going to be interesting.
Very good. And there's going to be one unique place that's going to be passed today on Union Road. And you have some close ties with that that particular location.
They're going to be crossing Bondi's Lane there in between Highway 42 Garage and the old Pete Bondi's General Store. And that should be really neat because it's going to be pretty tight fit as they run it in between the two buildings down there.
Okay. And you have some relatives that own that building at this time.
Yes, that would be my first cousin, Carol Schull, owns the building there. And my mother lives on the route, so she'll probably be standing outside also taking a picture. Okay,
very good. Thank you, Charlie.
Sure.
We're still here in Cleveland, Wisconsin, right across from Cleveland Auto Junkyard. And the building is all prepped and ready to go. It's on the dollies. We have the truck that's going to be pulling the building along at a slow pace. And a lot of gathering of people, as I mentioned, waiting for the building to be moved out to its new location. And it's a wonderful thought that people have been ahead of the game here and prepared a spot for it in the Pinecrest Historical Village. We have, I believe, Channel 6 is doing some videotaping here of the removal of this dance hall. Seems to have been catching a lot of TV stations, papers, and so forth in the area as far as worthy news to cover. And they're talking to Jason Devone. He's the gentleman that's heading up this entire project. And I'll be heading up XX as I look up the road here and over the I-43. And we have no sign at this time that things are going to be moving anywhere for a few more minutes. We have some police involved and the power company, and they will have to apparently lift some of these power lines or whatever to move the unit over the overpass of I-43 to start with. Okay, I've got two gentlemen here, and each one will give us a bit of information in regard to the building in the background. And I'll start with this gentleman here, and if you can identify yourself, please.
I'm Armand Keeter, a longtime member of the Manitowoc County Historical Society, and have always been interested in Pinecrest Village.
Okay.
It's quite a number of years ago that we contacted Mrs. Nennig because we were always looking at this pavilion as a possibility for Pinecrest Village.
Okay.
And we tried to encourage her that if the time came when she would not have any more use of the building, that she might consider giving it to the Manitowoc County Historical Society for preservation at Pinecrest Village.
Okay, very good. And I'll switch over to this gentleman now, and maybe you can add to that. And identify yourself, please.
My name's Chuck Backus. I'm the Executive Director of the Manitowoc County Historical Society. I've been the director since August of 2001.
Okay.
And shortly after I arrived, Armand came to me and said, you know, welcome to Manitowoc. There's a building you need to know something about. And Armand has kept me aware of the status of the Octagon Pavilion ever since that time. And as he mentioned, it was owned by Teresa Nennig. The building was built by her father.
Okay.
As near as we can tell, it looks like about 1899.
Wow.
We're starting to see articles in the local paper saying that there's going to be a dance down at Cleveland, referring to the Octagon Dance Hall.
Okay.
And what we have found is that Manitowoc County was a county that loved its music and loved to dance. It was a place where you could go and meet people. Specifically, you could meet people of the opposite sex. And I've had the wonderful opportunity to speak to people as they come past the building and, oh, you're taking it to Pinecrest, that's wonderful. And they'll recall that, oh yes, we used to dance here, and they would hold picnics here on the grounds.
Right.
And the bands would set up in the center, or the bands would be over on the side on the stage. And we're excited because that's exactly the role that the building is going to serve at Pinecrest.
Wonderful.
At Pinecrest Historical Village, we've been able to tell the story of how people worshiped, how they worked, how they lived, how they learned. Now we have the opportunity to express how they came here and kicked up their heels, how they danced and enjoyed their lives.
Wow, great.
So we're excited to bring that. And as soon as people found out that the Manitowoc County Historical Society and Pinecrest Village were involved, they started to go out of their way to help us and make this work. The village of Cleveland has been incredibly helpful. Of course, Leroy Ertl, who is the owner and the donor of this building, has been a joy to work with.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Leroy's generosity is, well, it's quite important to the village that somebody like Leroy Ertl has stepped forward and said, this is an important project, this is an important part of Manitowoc County's history, we need to preserve this. And of course, folks like Armand, who have been the champion of this building, well, ever since I came to town.
Well, I'm local enough.
Where you live, sir?
I was born and raised on a farm in Sheboygan County.
Okay.
So I'm local enough and have lived long enough to have experienced these pavilions, both in small towns in Sheboygan County as well as in Manitowoc County. And I've always thought from the time in 1970 when the Pinecrest Village was started that we would need something like that. And the only one that came to my attention that was still in shape was this pavilion here in Cleveland. So I'm delighted now that this has finally come to pass.
Okay, well, I'm happy to hear that too. When I heard the news, I said, oh, this is great. The people are thinking way ahead here. And
it's terrific. When you stand outside, and I've been in the building a number of times, but it still strikes me that when you stand outside, it's a fairly small structure.
Yes.
But you walk inside there, and it's expansively large.
It is.
There's tons of room, and it's an important part of Manitowoc County's past. As Armand has mentioned on tape and in conversations with me, dance bands would come around this area, and you would have nationally recognized acts who would come and play at dance pavilions just like this. There's an oral history associated with this building that says, well, yes, Lawrence Welk came and played here, but it was Romy Goss and his polka band that paid the mortgage on this building. So this is Wisconsin at its finest.
It is. And I have to go back to this gentleman here one more time, and he indicated there were a few other areas that had these type of pavilions, but they're probably no more in existence. Can you name a few?
That's right. For example, Valders in Manitowoc County, Silver Lake in Manitowoc County,
yes.
Howard's Grove in Sheboygan County, Ada in Sheboygan County.
Really? My
all of,
gosh.
And I was familiar with all of them.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I do thank you, sir, for contributing to the history on oral tape here and a visual besides. And we do appreciate you gentlemen, what you've done and are still doing. Thank you again, sir.
Thanks for recording this.
Thank you. Here in Cleveland, Wisconsin, and a historical thing is happening this morning. And I've got some gentlemen here who'd just like to introduce themselves and provide some information if they have any. Go right ahead, please.
I'm Charliebauer, and I'm here just to watch the Octagon Dance Hall make its trip to the Pinecrest Historic Village.
Okay, and who do you have here, please?
I'm Fred Jacoby. I live in Manitowoc now, but I grew up just about 2 miles from here, and can still remember the picnics and the dances at this at the pavilion here, and so I'm particularly interested.
Okay, very good. And we have another gentleman here who can identify himself and give us some more information.
I'm Chuck Backus. I'm the Executive Director of the Manitowoc County Historical Society, the folks who run Pinecrest Historical Village. And I'm here learning from Mr. Jacoby and Charlie, and well, looking forward to having this building at Pinecrest. As we were just discussing a little earlier, that we've been pursuing this building for a number of years. Pinecrest has talked about having something along these lines for the last 10 or 12 years or so. And there was discussion about building a gazebo, which is fine, but the problem with the gazebo is that you go to a gazebo to hear a 18th century string quartet play a minuet. You came to this place when you wanted to drink beer and polka.
Yes.
You don't get any more Wisconsin than this building. Architecturally, it's amazing. When you step inside, you expect there to be a center post that goes down to the floor, and there isn't. It's all done with a series of arches that look like if a strong wind came along, it would just twist and fall into a pile of sticks. But that building isn't going anywhere. As we were discussing before the camera came by, how much overkill they put into it, that there are these huge, what would you say, fellas? 8x8, 6x6 beams underneath there, every 4 feet. And they're sitting, along with the fieldstone foundation, there are also fieldstone footers every 3 or 4 feet underneath there. This thing wasn't going to go anywhere. We've been saying that elephants could dance on that dance floor, and that building wasn't going to go anywhere. And again, we're delighted that this is going to come back to Pinecrest because it is so telling of the people who lived here. I haven't found any musicians who performed here yet, but I have found a lot of people who dance, who told exactly the same stories as you, Fred, that people would come here and picnic on the grounds. There would be a band inside. They'd even drop some of these louvered walls here and sell concessions out the side. These are great stories, and I'm so excited that we're not going to lose these stories, that they're going to be saved on tape through projects like yours, but also through the built environment. This building is going to have a life at Pinecrest. It's not going to simply be an empty building. Things are going to be happening here. People are going to dance in that building again. There's going to be music coming through those walls. There's going to be theater performances there. This building is It's being preserved because it continues to have a function, it continues to live, and I'm excited that we can do that at Pinecrest with the Manitowoc County Historical
It's
Society.
nice to see that the dance hall is going to a village of its peers. You know, it fits, it belongs there. You know, it's so aesthetic, the setting there, and there it goes, they're pulling it out, look at there. Just wonderful.
And you have someone that you rely on quite a bit at Pinecrest for helping you get things organized for, and you've mentioned his name. Go right ahead.
Don Yonda is a, well, to be fair, there are hundreds of volunteers at Pinecrest without whom the society would not exist. We were discussing Don Yonda, who is engineering the foundation on which this building is going to sit.
Okay, great.
And even Don mentioned just how over-designed this was from the standpoint of safety and security.
Okay.
And isn't it something to just watch that old girl go down the road?
Isn't it great? No, that's a site that you've been waiting for a long time.
Yeah. Boy, we've been waiting for this for a long time. We'll give her a good home.
I'm sure you will. And I thank you again for helping us with this videotape.
Thanks very much.
We're going to chase this thing.
Okay, the first wires that have to be raised to get over the top of the tip of the roof. They have removed a portion of the center post just to aid in moving things through, and I'm sure that'll be resurrected once it gets back on its home location at Pinecrest. Its former home was Westview Street and North Avenue, and its new home, as we see on the little sign,
Probably about 25 and a half high, Jim, 26.
patrol cars are going up through the gas station to get ahead of the building and to block off some additional traffic as needed. So it's a lot of activity here this morning in Cleveland. Mr. Charliebauer, and we've kind of witnessed something unique here. Go right ahead, Charlie.
Yes, we just seen the dance hall being pulled out of the parking lot back here on the lawn here, and they just crossed Westview Avenue, and they're headed up over the top of the I system here going west until they get down to North Union Road, which we'll be taking a ride on. So
very good.
It's quite interesting.
We're going to be heading out there to view it all the way. Thank you, Charlie.
Sure.
A view of the original foundation here. It's kind of tore up a little bit, but it was unique and it was well fortified. Charliebauer this morning, and he'll give us some information, please.
Yeah, we're located on Union Road now, and we're just north of the intersection of XX and Union Road in the first field driveway here, and we're going to kind of watch the building come around on making its first turn here.
Okay.
And we have a plat map laid out here on Jerry's shiny new car here.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of show the direction. We're over here someplace. This is Cleveland, and they're going to come over the top of the I system, and they're going west here.
Okay.
And when they get down to this intersection right here, this is Union Road and XX, and they will be coming making a right-hand turn, and they would be going north up Union Road, which follows all the way. And we cross X here. This would be the next big major crossing on X.
Okay.
And the next road up here would be Point Quick Road.
Okay.
Gentleman with moving through.
And then
Mr. Charliebauer this morning, and he can indicate what we're up to today.
Yeah, we're on this famous grassy knoll that you talked about. And we're just east of the intersection of North Union Road and XX, or North Avenue as they call it here. And this was once known as Nickelbine's Corners, but that particular tavern burned down a few years ago. And there's a service garage on the south side of the road here, and we're positioned ourselves on this grassy knoll to watch the dance hall approach us before it makes its right-hand turn down on Union Road.
Okay. And we're now looking what direction, Charlie?
Now we're looking east, and we can just get a glimpse of the building down there in the flashing lights, and that building does take up the whole width of the road.
So it just came over the top of the overpass of I-43, is that correct?
Yes, it's just come over there, and it's probably off the slope of the hill already from the ice, as it looks like it's on the flat part of the roadway surface here now. It's a nice smooth road. They have one wire down there. Looked like there was a guy up on the roof that had to lift the wire. But between here and the corner, there's no other wires until they make the turn down here, and there's a utility truck down here already working on the wire.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Charlie.
The touch.
No.
See, they cut one off. There you go, see?
Charlie, what do you think they're doing down there with the wires?
Oh, one of the bottom wires they cut already. It's laying down on the ground there, and the other one up on top where the man is up in this basket up there, he's putting insulators on the wire there, and I think they're going to just lift that wire when the building comes through. They probably have a utility man with insulated gloves on top of the building just to raise it.
All right.
Because I seen them measuring earlier from the ground on up to that wire there, and they need 24 feet of clearance to get the building through.
Very good. That's very good, Charlie. We're just trying to emphasize the width of this building that's being moved down the road. We're making good progress.
They're going all of 5 miles an hour. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're moving right along.
Yeah.
But they're looking at mailboxes, trying to zigzag, if you will, on the road slightly to avoid any contact. And either the Volks helpers, and I believe Jason is doing the directing here, what he wants to happen. And it looks like they're crowding to this side of the road now. Now they're moving as I say, they're trying to slowly maneuver around different things along the road. There's an entourage, of course, working behind them. got to make a 90-degree turn to the right to get on to Union Road now. So they've maneuvered the building as far as they can over to the left. Now everything has to, this is to be the first 90-degree turn of the day. So they've stopped for a little bit here to review the situation.
Well, we just gotta keep waiting, you know, and once we're on this road, they got a truck ahead and they got
Okay, they're waiting for the power company to arrive back here to lift the overhead wire over the roof of the building. Okay, they're raising up the wire to a height that will clear the tip of the roof of the building coming through. Okay, there's a cable that locked the two poles together that they took apart and dropped it. Okay, they're heading on to Union Road momentarily. This will take up the whole intersection. Truth. Beautiful, no problems. And they're trying to avoid the set of mailboxes here that they're weaving over to this side of the road, so they don't have to. And I'll have be moving very quickly myself. They're trying to clear the top of the mailboxes here. Now they gotta watch that they don't get too far over to the shoulder and create a problem on that side. Looks like everything's going fine. Okay, you can see how much they are trying to avoid every article in the way, but they don't want to commit too much. This is a wide building. Look like they're coming back to center. It's Mr. Charliebauer. We're on a mission today, and he'll explain what we're all about and where we are. Go right ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, we're standing on Union Road there, just at the site of the Lutzke House Barn, and that is just north of the intersection of Fiddler Road and Union Road.
Okay.
And the Lutzke House Barn was established in 1819.
Okay.
And it's being restored by the, as you can see on the sign, by the Centerville settlement. They're restoring this back to its original condition.
Okay.
And we thought this would be a beautiful site for us to take a picture of the old dance hall coming down the road here. And we'll probably get up and film just a little bit of the house barn up in here.
Very good. Thank you, Charlie. We're at the location of the Lutzke House Barn. Yeah. Okay, Charlie, would you like to indicate a little information here for us?
We're standing on the south side of the Lutzke House Barn, and on this end of the barn here would be actually the barn part.
Okay.
And the house part was, if you can catch the steel beams coming through here, the house part is on the east end of the building here.
Okay.
And you notice the windows here, they're typical 6/6 plate windows.
Okay.
And it's covered with clapboard. And I believe there's some timber framing in this building. It's not a balloon construction, it's got to be timber frame. You can see some of the timbers through under that one window there where it's open.
Okay.
They have a lot of work here to get this restored back to its
Wow.
glory days. It's great that there's a good roof on here.
Yeah, that roof looks very good. Yeah, that keeps everything intact there. Okay, but this they're working on as a project for the historical group.
The Centerville settlement. Yes.
Okay. Okay, and the age of this building is what, Charlie?
It was 1819.
1819. Wow.
Yes. German immigrants built this, and I guess that was a thing they did. The house was part of the barn so they could keep the animals warm and they keep an eye on them and all that.
All right. Okay.
But they have a lot of stonework besides clapboard, redoing the windows. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the living quarter part must have been lath and plaster, but that's just a guess. I wasn't inside the building. It's pretty
Okay.
dark in there.
All right. They're measuring the distance between mailboxes and the fuel driveway. We're gonna do a poll here.
I'm watching you guys to make sure you're doing it right. I think that's the steel spade that just counts in.
Yeah, roll it right down in there. We'll get pretty good after this wire right here, you know, up and down the hill. It's kind of going up the hill. I think there's a couple mailboxes and stuff, so we'll watch it, but it should be all right.
Does the
Not a bad route.
Does the hill give you any particular problem with the building?
No,
being in a slope?
no. We have brakes on everything, and the building is secured. You know, it's
So
cabled on the
it
inside.
can't slide or...
No, it can't slide off the load or anything. You know, like the steel beams are.
Right,
It can
right.
slide off. We got brakes on the dollies in the back too, so
That holds the building.
oh yeah, the building doesn't weigh much. This little barn here, you know, it doesn't weigh much. So the semi will stop it with ease by itself. You know.
And it's not like you're traveling very fast.
No, we're at 5-10 miles an hour. You know, when we're dealing with the power people and them. You know, it takes a little longer. But.
See right here. You see
Here, and we're contemplating something arriving here.
We're on the east side of the Lutzy homestead here, and the power company is just going to do something with the wire that feeds the electricity to the site here. And we're waiting for the dance hall to come down here. You just catch of it. Looked like he just pulled the fuse on the wire, so you'll probably be dropping that wire to the ground there.
Okay.
I got to say, they're making wonderful progress with moving the building.
Yes, they are. They're moving right along. And you can see in the background we have the Octagon building coming over the crest of the hill by the Lutzy house barn area.
That sure don't take long to take a wire off.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Just look at that building approach up there.
A lot of coordination today, I gotta say. The police are keeping traffic under control, the public service, there goes the wire.
Well, that took a whole, what, 3 minutes?
Yeah, that's amazing how they can disconnect.
It's vehicle time for us, Jerry.
I think it's time to get a rolling here. Charliebauer, and he'll indicate where we are and what we're about to see.
We're standing in Albrecht's yard, and the utility truck is right in front of us here. They're going to drop some wires, but you notice way up on the road here to the south where the building is, just that it fits in between the two ditches there. You got a spotter way over on the right-hand side.
Wow. It does cover the road pretty heavily, doesn't it?
Yes, it surely does.
It's ditch to ditch.
And they're moving at quite a speed, Judd. I'm guessing 10 miles an hour they're coming down here.
10 miles an hour, okay.
A good place to stand under these power lines, sure.
Oh yeah, when they drop them, we're in trouble. There goes the next one. Okay, it's clear again, so I suppose it's back to our vehicle, huh?
I guess, huh?
Here we go, Charlie. We're on our way again.
We're on our way. We're chasing the tornado.
And next time we'll get the map out so we can see a little bit where we are.
Yes, we're coming up to County X.
Okay, very good. Thank you. October 7th, and we're moving along with the moving of the Octagon dance hall, and Charlie has a few things to say.
I always have a few things to say, Jerry. One thing we didn't point out is, though, when the Octagon building crossed that big giant culvert down there, that was Fisher Creek.
Okay, all right, very good.
And we're standing up here almost in Harlan Albrecht's backyard here, and that would be, if we can show on the map here, this would be Harlan Albrecht's place here.
Okay.
And that's on the east side of the road.
All right.
And this square here,
yes,
that represents the Classic. Classic owns this building here, and this is where the 150th celebration of Wisconsin becoming a state, and the wagon train encamped on his grounds here.
Okay.
And there's a buffalo farm there. That's indicated by the corral there, but I don't know where the buffalo are right now.
All right.
And we're waiting here for the building. They got a few more lines to drop down.
Okay. And we're looking what direction now, Charlie?
We would be looking north. We're still heading north on Union Road there.
Okay.
And our next major road that we're going to cross that runs east and west is County Road X.
Okay.
And that will be, I'm guessing here, if things proceed as they are, in the next 45 minutes probably.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Charlie.
Sure.
Okay, we're looking at a map, and Charlie will explain a little bit more about that.
Yes, we found the name of the homestead here, and it's the Saxton Homestead LLC, which stands for Limited Liability Corporation. And it is an 80-acre lot here, and part of Fisher Creek does run through it.
Okay. We're at the corner of X and Union Road. There's a diagonal high power line going across Union Road at this juncture, and there's some concern about it, I'm sure, and they're going to have to do something about it. But there is a host of activity here. And like I said, we're at the intersection of Union Road and X, Highway X. And the house is coming down or the hall rather, dance hall, Octagon dance hall is coming down the road very nicely. And Charlie is trying to come up with some information in regard to the cheese factory that's located here on the corner. And he's asking some nearby neighbors here, and maybe we can get some more information about this building also. Sort of a historical thing. Cheese factories were prominent throughout the area because farmers usually hauled by sleigh or by wagon, and the distance had to be within the traveling distance of those farmers. It's kind of a unique building also. So along Union Road here is a lot of history. Again, this is a early cheese factory. I don't believe there's been any restoration to it. It's just as is. This is where apparently the milk was taken in to the building. We're still here at the intersection of Union Road and County Trunk X. This is, I think, was part of Charliebauer's mail route. He knows the lady that lives there, and he's talking to her for information about the cheese factory, if she would remember anything. And we're awaiting the arrival of the Octagon building. they have to remove that stop sign, and we're at the intersection, and they can't get over that far. Charliebauer, we're here at a intersection of, you can indicate that, Charlie?
We're on the Union Road and County X, and we're at another historic building here, and it used to be the Farmers Co-op, and this is the building over here. It was a cheese factory. It was, the people that started it came from Germany in 1840.
Okay.
And it was started by a Henry Bartle, and I'm going to spell that last name as soon as I put my glasses on because I'm not sure of the punctuation.
Okay, very good.
And that's B-A-R-T-H-E-L.
Okay.
Henry.
Okay.
He bought an acre of land here and he sold it to the Farmers Co-op for the intent of using it as a cheese factory. Because dairying was just starting off in the state, and there were a lot of these farmer co-op cheese factories starting here.
Okay.
And they used it, and when they no longer used it as a cheese factory, they sold that 1 acre of land back to his son.
Okay.
Which was Alfred Yenning.
Okay.
And he, I think since that time he passed on, but his daughter lives here.
Okay.
And she was the one I got the information from.
And what, do you know, again, I might be putting you in a corner, what year this was built, this cheese factory?
No, I asked and she couldn't tell me that.
Okay.
But it was back in the 1900s, she believes.
All right.
Or even before.
Very good. Okay.
And she couldn't remember the dairy. She thought maybe it was Cloverleaf Dairy, but she wasn't going to say
sure
for
of that.
sure. No.
Okay. Well, we'll find something else out on that.
Sure.
Thank you for all the efforts there, Charlie.
Yep.
With branches on a tree that are overhanging onto the roof area, this could be a problem. And we got power poles limiting how far they can move to my left. So there's a little bit of a squeeze here. And I see the tree branches are pretty stiff at that point, and you can't lower it to get under. So that could be a hang up here. I think they're over about as far as they can go to my left.
Nennig's Dance Hall, Octagon shaped building. Very few left in this name of Wisconsin.
Really?
Octagon Dance Hall.
I wish I would have brought a camera.
They're gonna
Okay, questions for you then, Tom? I guess you had
Looks like they're finally clearing the branches that were overhanging in the road here. Slowly getting it past the corner of the building. We don't want to damage those roof boards or the structure part of this thing. Got too far already, and looks like everything's going to move along well now. Okay, we're at Union Road and County Trunk F, and they're going to be coming down the hill very soon with the Octagon Dance Hall. And they should be coming over the hill very shortly with the truck and the flatbed that holds the Octagon Dance Hall. Okay, we're now looking north down Union Road, and they've sent a utility truck up the road. I think they feel they have enough height here with the present wiring going across the intersection that they can proceed to a new location. Charliebauer here, and he's got a little vest on he feels a little more secure with. So Charlie,
forgot that this morning.
Where are we now?
Right now we're on the Union Road and County Road F. And the distinction about this intersection is town of Centerville is on that side, and this is the town of Newton on this side.
Okay.
So we're going to be leaving the town of Centerville, and from the beginning point where we left this morning till this intersection, the dance hall has moved 5 miles.
Okay.
And we left around 8 o'clock this morning, and I think we're pushing 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we can kind of judge its speed right now.
Okay.
A lot of traffic here, tree behind us.
Okay. Location here, and there's some extra history here that's gone at this time.
Yes, there's a little history here on the other side of the intersection. Here would be on the east side. Used to be the old town landfill site, and now there's a beautiful home built in here. And Jerry's going to tell us about the little job he used to have up here when the old canning company had the pea binders here. Jerry, would you explain that?
Yeah, back in 1955 when I graduated from high school, we
have to get our car too.
Yeah. We're on top of the hill where Marcus Goodiget used to live on Union Road. We got a wire to take down there. Charliebauer here again, and we're standing at a certain location. He'll give us more information. Go right ahead.
Yeah, we're just south of the intersection of, not south, we're north.
There we go.
North. North of County F and Union Road there, and the old building is coming down what was always called Keys-the-Horse's Hill from years ago.
Okay.
And the little creek down there where you just catch part of the side or the culvert of it, that would be Point Creek.
Okay, very good, Charlie.
And we're going to be crossing Point Creek here, and once you get to the bottom, then it's uphill all the way here.
Okay.
And as we get further north, we're going to cross Union Newton Road, and then the next road would be Highway C, and we're coming up to Bondi's Corners. And that should be interesting, watching the maneuvering over the two major roads there, and through Bondi's Corners.
Is Highway 42 in that area also?
Yes, Highway 42, they have to cross that on Union Road.
Okay.
And like I said, we just started into the Township of Newton, and we got a total of 6 miles in Newton we're going to go.
All right.
And then we'll get into, I forgot which county it is, or township. I have to look on the map.
Okay,
but we got 6 miles in Newton.
All right. Straight right through Newton.
Right, yeah. Where we make one left-hand turn for a half mile, and then we go back north again.
Where's that half-mile turn?
That half-mile turn's going to be on Weyhausen Road.
Okay.
And we'll go a half mile west.
All right.
And then we get back on Brunner Road,
Yes.
and then we'll head north.
Okay, very good. Okay, I'll just take another shot down the road here.
That definitely fills up the whole building there. Jerry, you start explaining your little thing there at the pea binders
Okay,
when
yes.
we almost got ran over by a building.
By the building, yeah.
You want to explain that to me?
Sure. Back in 1955, I graduated from Valdez High School, and my first job, if you will, seasonal job, was with the Crystals and Senesians. They were associated with Chilton Hipke, I believe it was, canning company.
Oh, okay.
And they had on the corner of F and Union Road, there was the local dump, as you had mentioned, their refuge area.
Yeah.
And they had 6 viners there, pea viners. And I was the person on the stack where all the pea viners fed the vines that were thrashed out from the peas.
Sure.
And I had my responsibility was to make that particular stack, which I would guess size-wise was about perhaps 100, 125 feet wide and maybe 150 to 175 feet long. And by the end of the season, it would be approximately 20 to 25 feet high.
Wow.
And I worked on that stack it took about 3 weeks to a month to harvest all the peas, the early peas, late peas, and so forth. And the tractor would be compressing all those vines together, and my job is to just keep the vines being moved out and around and about that stack area.
So you were stacking the vines, the pea was already taken out of the vine.
Right, they were taken out at that time. And farmers later on in the winter would come with their power saws or whatever they had, or any kind of knives of some kind, to cut through sections of that stack that they had purchased, and that they would give that to the cattle, and apparently it was a good feed. But it was a smelly job, it was a lot of flies, and but I met a lot of people there and enjoyed, had a good time, a lot of activity.
And they paid you well for what you were doing.
Oh yes, it was 90 cents an hour.
There you go, see.
Thanks for that, Charlie.
Sure.
We're here again, and we're looking down the road as we did before, and we noticed that there's some slowdown, and maybe there's a reason. Go right ahead.
Yes, on the house that's down there that's located on the west side of the road, they have a circle driveway. So you have actually 2 entrances onto Union Road here, and on each side of that driveway they got the cement block columns up to indicate where the driveways are, about 4 or 5 feet tall on each side. And I think that's what's slowing them up, because you're going to have to maneuver around that a little bit.
All right. Boy, that is a huge building when you look at it.
Now, when you see it coming down the road, it just
My
fills the road
gosh.
up.
On top of the hill here, and Charlie can describe what farmer used to be on this area.
The property that we're standing on actually belonged to Marcus and Adele Gerdegut.
Okay.
And their dairy barn and all that is gone now. The original homestead is still here.
Okay.
I believe that's what we're looking at right now. And
right.
As we pan around now, the next farmer you're going to see over there would be Ted and Mary Ann Meyer.
Okay. And we'll pan a little bit more to the left.
And the other big, the flat building there where all the cattle are in over there used to be Marvin Brandel, and now it belongs to Ivo Gerdegut.
Okay, very good.
And you follow around the little brown brick house there.
Oh yes.
That would be Marvin Brandel's place now.
All right.
And then you come over, the building there with the green roof and that used to be Gordon Karstead.
Okay.
He used to be a cattle trucker. It now belongs to Mel Banky.
Okay. And back in the background with that bigger silo.
The bigger silo and the white-faced building there, that would be Wilbur Dill. And in the foreground, on the left of that,
yes,
that used to be Hugo LaCroix,
all right,
an old Frenchman.
Okay.
And now that belongs to Randy Spindler.
All right. And let's see, we'll pan a little bit further over, and there's some tall silos coming up.
Tall silos, red buildings, white roofs. That would belong to Gannigan,
all
Leslie
right.
Gannigan, dairy farmer on Highway 42.
Okay.
The blue silos way up on the knoll up there is Driscoll.
Okay.
And then we'll follow around a little further on, And the other big dairy farm in the area is Soaring Eagle Dairy.
Okay.
And they have a fairly new operation there. And as you pan this way in the foreground with the blue harvesters is Larry Welch.
All right.
Ran a big dairy farm.
Okay, very good. And we see a combine out in the background there too. And
yes, they're taking off the soybeans.
all right, very good.
And they're making a little, they're down to the bridge now down there.
Okay, we'll take a shot one more time down there.
At Nenning's Hall down there.
Oh, we weren't around here at that time.
Oh, you at that building. It's got to be the building still standing.
No, see, we first come up this way in 1948.
48?
Well, we moved here in 68, but we started going out up to Gretz's.
Oh, Gretz's.
Tourist Inn.
Tourist Inn. Yeah,
okay.
That was a very popular spot.
That was in 48.
Wire down there?
Yeah, they take the wires down.
What was
behind, puts them back up.
What was all the excitement this morning? All of a sudden, the squad went through here.
Yeah, one of the
lady here, and she'd like to indicate her name and so forth. Go right ahead, please.
I'm Mary Ann Meyer, and my husband Ted, and he's building a steam engine. So everybody complains, why can't we see it?
Yeah,
it's because parts didn't come yet. He finally found them.
Okay,
okay. Yet, so
very good.
now,
and Ted, how far are you?
I'm waiting for somebody to build me a manifold.
Okay.
I looked and searched and found a governor for it.
All right.
I was lucky to find just what I wanted and needed.
Great.
But now I got to have somebody build a manifold for it.
Ah.
And that's coming up in possibly a week or two. Ewald from let's see, Michigan.
Oh, okay, so it's on it. It's sort of in process already, huh?
Yeah.
Very good.
And once we got the manifold, we can set the governor on there, and then we're all set to fire it up. And,
ooh, looking for it.
Yeah.
Please give me a call, okay?
I sure will.
I would appreciate that, and Charlie too. We'll be there for you.
How long did you work on that? Now, that had to be a year or two, huh?
Oh, God.
Or longer?
3-4 years.
3-4 years.
Yeah. My goodness.
Your honey-doo-dah list is way too long, Mary Ann. He needs more shop time. More shop time.
Oh, yeah? He had to finish my living room, and I said, that's it. Then he went and helped his brother for a week because he had cancer and he couldn't do the way he wanted, so he helped him.
To get his flat all ready. His son rented upstairs and he moved out.
Oh, okay.
And he had to refurbish it.
And you have carpenter trade tools and all that kind of stuff?
No, he did.
Here by Teddy Myers, and they're observing for the first time, fairly close up, the building. It's coming up the road here.
It's just a matter of feet from the electric post to avoid the tree.
Yeah, it's just...
Okay, Spark, come here. You're going to be under there.
That poor dog never seen anything like that.
Oh, yeah, he did. I didn't either. That's really good.
No, we never, well, see, we first started coming up this way in May of 48, and then...
They said after World War II the dances slowed down more, you know, there was other things going on in that, but it was a very popular spot.
Oh, that's it.
Well, we think so.
They didn't drive as far. Like today, distance will mean nothing.
Right, yeah.
Well, see, he
They
can't
have
jump.
to, they'll go to... Am I in your way here?
No, I want you on this tape.
The guy said he was traveling about 10 miles an hour would be his top speed on there. And you can see he can make quite... There ain't nothing between here and there, you know?